Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about She-Hulk, episode 4. Is this not magic? So, before we start talking about this episode, I want to basically talk about Twerkgate, which happened last week, because and I could not believe, personally, the amount of tweets and social media activity going on about She-Hulk shaking her ass with Megan Thee Stallion. It was absolutely fucking incredible. You would have thought the world had ended the way people were going on about that arse shake. So just as we're going to be shooting the shit a little bit, I just want to start asking some of you guys how you felt about that and some of the things that you came across, during the last 7 days regarding that. Cousin Cheetah?
These green people, who do they think they are shaking their ass like that on television? Come on. I mean, nobody.
Disgraceful.
Yeah, it is very disgraceful. It's a bad taste in my mouth as a white American towards green people. I mean, what the fuck? Like, why are we worried about this shit in 2022? This is the bullshit. Like, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Daniel Vance's comment. She-Hulk's twerk gave the queen a hand attack. Or a heart attack. Give me a heart attack too.
Yeah, too many things. It wasn't cricket, that's for sure.
Mate, what can I say? I have never been triggered by anything so much in my life. I haven't been able to sleep for the last week. I went full meltdown. I can't believe this is what constitutes as television. I have never seen anything worse in my life, etc. No, I'm glad you're bringing this up now, because that was the rant part of the video that I wanted to go into at any point. It doesn't really matter. I thought we'll do it afterwards, but we'll do it now, even better. And I just want to talk about the glaring hypocrisy of these so-called fanboys that are absolutely spewing at the mouth, saying that this is the lowest part of the MCU. Did you not fucking watch Thor: Love and Thunder? Did you not watch anything that James Gunn did? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, Iron Man 3. Did you not watch just all the other MCU shows, like Hawkeye, that tried to be funny but wasn't fucking funny? Here we have a show that is actually funny, okay, for the most part. Some of the jokes land a bit flat, but they're actually accomplishing what they're trying to do, when the rest of the MCU tries and fucking fails miserably, in my opinion, in terms of comedy. And this is the people that think this is the lowest ebb that we've reached. Was She-Hulk twerking with Megan Thee Stallion? Okay, it's not for you. Don't fucking watch it then. Like, I didn't like What If, so I didn't watch any more of it. That's it. Don't come fucking crying and calling this the lowest part when we have Thor: Love and Thunder, Hawkeye, terrible, and so much other garbage that has preceded the show, and you think this is the lowest part? Get the fuck out of here, idiots.
I still don't understand
before I pass it on to Jose, I just want to remind people that in Iron Man 1, we had pole dancing air stewardesses. You know what I mean? Shaking their booty and all of that stuff on Tony Stark's private jet. But people can conveniently forget that, can't they? The beginning of the MCU. So please, this is fucking ridiculous. I hate it here, aka Jose. What you got to say?
Yeah, this is the worst it gets, really. I mean, Tony Stark pissed himself, and no one said shit back then. But twerking apparently is the end of the world. Really, who gives a shit? At the end of the day.
Tony Stark did not die for our sins so that we could twerk. Okay.
Man.
Everyone's like, Tony Stark died for this. And like,
Tony Stark would love some twerking, for fuck's sake. Do they not know who Tony Stark is?
Tony would be in the strip club right damn now, sitting there having a drink, watching them twerk, just not giving a fuck. He'd be like this. He'd be like,
take my money.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with.
Yeah, I agree. Loki's the best show so far.
A lot of people say that my personal favorite is Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier, but that's my personal favorite. But regardless, I thought Loki was very enjoyable too. Okay, so that was sorry, with all that talk and stuff like that, I forgot to get my notes up. But yeah, that was pretty much how we feel regarding that. Now, even though we all have our issues with this episode, I'm going to bring up mine once we get to it in my play-by-play. But before we start talking about my play-by-play, overall, what do you guys think of the episode? First of all, Cousin Cheeto.
I thought it was fine. It was a very thirsty episode. But I mean, I thought it was done in the vein of like comedy slash like it's real life comedy. Like this is the bullshit that people like, even Jen says it. People in your 30s just have to deal with this bullshit nowadays, and it's like, yeah, this is really it, because Jen, I mean, they even make mention throughout the episode, which we'll get to it, but it's just like, he's like, yeah, she's a 6. I mean, she's an average looking lady. Like she's attractive, but she's not like super hot or anything like that. But it's like, this is the bullshit we have to deal with, is like this vain, shallow dating scene, and it's actually really funny to see it this way. And then like she makes the She-Hulk profile, and it's like, all these matches. And I have to say, if I had like a Chris Evans alter person, like if I turned into Chris Evans, I'd be making a Tinder profile that looks like Chris Evans. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
if I was single, so it's like, maybe
They'll hear you.
But
Anyway, yeah, the jet scene, Daniel Vance did the jet scene in Iron Man in the delete scene. Yeah, I remember, like, he was actually, there's a scene in Iron Man where a couple of girls he's about to have a threesome, and he leaves it so he can fly in his fucking suit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's a deleted scene, by the way. Am I really supposed to believe that Jen can get that date on Tinder? She can get anything she wants on Tinder. Anyway, regardless,
was
Ginger
it
Greek.
Matcher in this one? It's called Matcher.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
Matcher.
Matcher in this one for
some days-
copyright.
Yeah, some days I love it when they make up these stupid generic, like Young Justice does that all the time. They make up
Jose,
Is it my-
Jose, move your mic a bit further away.
I think in Young Justice they made instead of Facebook, it was like Facebook and MySpace, it was My Book or something like that. It was like,
Yeah,
Well,
something like that.
Well,
I'm
Tony
like,
Stark did mention
I love some of
MySpace.
these generic names they make up.
Well, Tony
Yeah.
Stark did mention MySpace in Iron Man 1 at the very beginning of the film. So, anyway, regardless, Ginger Greek, what you guys think of? A quick summary of this episode.
I enjoyed this episode. Look, for me, I look at this show, and again, like I said, I forget the first episode ever existed. But for me, it's just like a procedural sitcom show. Okay, it's a sitcom. It is not. It doesn't have an overarching theme. There's no big like stakes in every episode, which is great. It's a comedy that works, and it's a comedy where most of the jokes are actually landing. I have like no overall issue with this, because I never came into the show initially to take it seriously. I was just miffed with her origins in the beginning, and that whole first episode was just horseshit. But this one, really, really good, really funny, and yep, fucking 100% relatable. Trying to date in your 30s, it's a minefield to go through. Everyone's like, at least everyone's in this episode. What I liked as well was both sides were honest in their shallowness. Like, she was honest with the doctor and how shallow that was, and the doctor was honest and how shallow he was, because he just wanted to bang She-Hulk and all this kind of stuff. And we have now one of the best nicknames in the MCU with Wongers, which is just top tier. So yeah, I enjoyed the episode. I'm enjoying the show so far. I'm not gonna lie.
And finally, Jose.
Well, for me, I thought this episode honestly was a bit boring in parts, but I could understand, people liking it if they like it. But I thought the best thing about it was, the dating in your 30s. It's like, this is actually pretty accurate as to what we go through. It's the world we live in with, you not being able to get matches on Tinder, and then you make another profile and then you get like 30, 40, 50 hits. And, it was funny how She-Hulk kind of saw through the bullshit, and, both of them were honest about their shallowness, like Ginger said. But overall, I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine, but I didn't really enjoy this episode like other people did. But Wongers was a highlight, and I'll never forgive that bitch for spoiling The Sopranos for me. You bastard.
Oh, she's spoiled it for you.
Yep. She spoiled it for me.
I mean, she
I've
spoiled it
seen
for
that.
me too, but I don't care.
Not
I've
me.
never
I
watched-
fucking seen it because I fucking know my shit. So yeah, Sopranos is also, it was the beginning of the golden age of television, and I love fucking Sopranos. It's a shame it's over, and the many things in New York was a pile of shit. For me personally, I'm loving this show. Like other MCU shows are really trying to insert comedy into it, whilst it's not necessarily being a comedy. This is genuinely a comedy, and so I'm enjoying what I'm getting out of it. I find it very humorous. Like when Wong comes in and you hear the dramatic music and the exit, all of that sort of stuff. Like it's those little things. It just works for me. I very much appreciate it. So, are you ready for the play-by-play? All right. So for a start, before I go on the play-by-play, the rumors were not true. We're not getting Johnny Blaze, fucking AKA Ghost Rider. We're getting Donny Blaze. Because a lot of people, I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but a lot of people assumed that the Ghost Rider was going to come into this episode. Because people were thinking Johnny Blaze was going to show up, but no, it's fucking Donny Blaze.
Don't. Sorry to interrupt, but don't put it past Disney making him the fucking Ghost Rider.
Right? Oh,
yeah.
They like everything
Donnie.
being lighthearted.
My middle name is Donnie. I actually go by my real name, or my real name is John.
Oh, Donny Blaze is my stage name.
Or not Stuntman,
and I believe Ghost Rider can create portals by swinging his chains around as well.
That's kind of that's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. I don't know if that's exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's exactly a comic book thing, but I mean, who knows? Who cares?
All right. Well, shitty magician Donny Blaze is not impressing his audience, and he gets a member to join him called Madison. I fucking love Madison. I don't care what anyone says. Madison is awesome. The actress portrayed that character so perfectly. And by the way, she's Madison with a Y and two N's, and she's about to participate.
Nice. Well remembered. Yeah, I'll jump in here and I'll agree. She was brilliant. She was the star of the show. She was 100% the star of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm going to get to the comments in a little bit, guys. But Madison, she's participating in this trick. Blaze uses the sling ring to open up a portal to somewhere. And then we cut to Wong in the pool about to watch season 5, episode 12 of The Sopranos. And then Madison falls in with a heart in her hand. Wong asks her what the hell has happened, and she mentions Blaze, the magician Wong is familiar with, and wants vengeance against Blaze because Madison spoiled the episode for him. What happened to Ginger Greek?
He fell off. He'll come back. Probably internet.
Fine. Before I continue, quickly let's go to some of the comments here.
Fucking Mobo.
He said I quite like the Imperfect, which is showing on Netflix. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for that. This review is spectacular. Thank you very much. And Daniel Vance also said the goat Madison sacrificed 6 drops of blood in order to survive, which was probably Shab Nagath, Black Beast of Hell with
Black Beast, yeah.
And it's a Conan reference. All right, fair enough, yeah. All right. So Jen is 4-4 breaking, saying everybody loves Wong and he's Twitter armor.
By the way,
amazing.
I was going to say, by the way, I just wanted to say that this episode should have been called The Fourth Wall Break because, God, it was everywhere. And I didn't have an issue with it, but it was everywhere in this episode.
Well, this actual show kind of predicts, like some of the haters out there are how they're going to behave regarding this episode. A lot of incel men and stuff like that. That's why she mentioned Wong in the way she did, because he was like armor for this episode. And while she mentions that her dad comes in wanting to protect his daughter, but after the mugging she had last week, but she reminds her dad that she's She-Hulk and she can take care of herself. Jen then creates a dating profile, and then Wong pops in with the dramatic music, and this is my only gripe. Sorry, Cheetah, 1 second. This is my only gripe, because this motherfucker just comes in back to America after breaking a prisoner out of jail. And for me, the only way he could be exempt from breaking Blonsky out of jail and getting away with it is that he put a mind wipe on everyone. You know what I mean? Because there's no other way he could have got away with it, in my opinion. Regardless, sorry, Cheetah, you got something to say?
Oh, God. Well, see, that's why I got to start writing these things down. I don't know. Keep going. Okay. No, I don't remember. Keep going.
Okay. One wants legal representation. No problem. One wants legal representation against Donny Blaze for being an irresponsible magician using the mystical arts. With no legal documents to say Blaze cannot use the mystical arts, mystical arts magic, this is going to be a tough case. Sorry, Cheetah, you got it back?
No, I'm still thinking.
Okay. At Legalese, Jen and Nikki are doing some work and they're getting hit on by men. After casting off the guy, Nikki suggested Jen that she makes a dating profile as She-Hulk. And She-Hulk and Wong meet Blaze and his manager to set terms for their court date, and they're throwing in some cheap tricks. Jen has a date as herself with a guy who pays her no interest and avoids going Dutch on the bill. That guy was weird. I mean, I'm surprised Jen even gave him the time of day, man. You know what I mean? But regardless, and he called her a 6. I mean, if she's a 6, then that guy's a 3. You know, 2, and that's being generous.
That's because guys are egotistical asshole motherfuckers. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, like guys like that are just like they think their shit don't stink, and it's just like, yeah, like if you can, truth be told, if you can rate someone like that, like I know we do ratings here for like, you know, creative content, but like if you can do a rating on a person, like you're not a good person, you know.
Oh, mate, don't remind me.
Okay, so in court, the judge requires She-Hulk as a witness, and Wong portals Madison into the court to give her testimony. She mentions being thrown into a portal, and she met a demon and made a pact with him, saying her ordeal was fun, scary, and spooky. Regardless of all of that, the judge sides with the defendant and let Donnie Blaze continue practicing magic. Jen overworking forgets it's the weekend and has no matches on her dating app, and makes one as She-Hulk. As soon as her profile is created, she gets lots of matches and goes on a date with fellow lawyer David Otunga, as well as various other guys who don't fit the bill, until she meets a handsome doctor and she's already willing to take him home. Anyone so far? David Otunga, Jose. David Otunga.
David Otunga in that clip.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
him.
yeah. He was the one who was horrible to the waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He takes care of himself, though. I'll give him that.
He was there because
How did I
he was a
miss
lawyer.
that? What?
Yeah, you missed it. How the hell did
I
you
must
miss
have been
that?
half awake. I think I literally started watching it as I woke up. Hang on. You carry on. Don't worry.
No problem. Okay. So Donnie Blaze is doing magic tricks again and summons a dove that lays an egg, and when it hatches, a demon pops out. He opens a portal to put the demon in, but more demons come out. Blaze gets Wong to help him clean up his mess, and then he cock blocks Dr. Love, who's about to shag She-Hulk, because he needs the help to get rid of demons. Wong and She-Hulk clean up the mess and then tells Blaze to reverse his cease and exist. Is that how you call it? Cease and I call it decent. Sorry, I call it a cease and exist. I'm not good with legal shit. Sorry?
How did I miss that? Sorry, I just had a quick look back at the clip. I completely missed it.
Yeah. Anyway, She-Hulk returns to her date and then carries the lucky fuck back to the bedroom. Seth Rogen, sorry, I actually missed something out, but the next day she's being herself, and Dr. Love.
Bye, snoo.
I mean,
That's
you
how
can tell he
every
was
man wants
playing.
to go.
The funny thing is that even though she like reverted back to herself, mate, you still got She-Hulk. You know, you should make this work. But regardless, he's no longer interested anymore. He shot his load. He's out of the door. And then the Seth Rogen dude comes to the door with a copyright lawsuit saying that Titania is suing Jen for using the name of She-Hulk, as Titania had it first. And then that's it, the end of the episode. And after the credits, we see Wong and Madison sharing popcorn, watching a movie, talking about all the alcoholic beverages Wong has drunk, including vodka and yak milk. And that's it. Episode done.
By the way, I'm enjoying the fact that every episode has some kind of goofy Ginger. God damn it.
Sorry, guys.
God damn it.
God damn it, Ginger. I'm liking the fact that there's a post credit after, because it works for this show. Like if there was like one at the end of like other shows, like, you know, but this one with the comedy, it's like there's always that fun tag at the end. I think it works for this show. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's shout out to Madison. Totally stole the show. Her and Wong's blossoming relationship should now be a staple.
It's a relationship, though. I just think it's like
it's a buddy thing, but it should blossom into a relationship. That would be, you know, hilarious. Having Doctor Strange 3. You know,
I think that would be excellent.
Well, you know, look, there's the other side of it. We got a glimpse into the demon world as well, you know, which is interesting for the future, because obviously, you know, they're slowly starting to allude to different dimensions. and different. There's loads of things. So I was thinking the other day, obviously we had the newspaper, the article that was on the laptop about, Wolverine or Guy with Metal Claws and all this kind of stuff. And I'm starting to think that because the timeline and things are so fractured now after the events of Loki, that they're just going to appear. Like they're just mutants and all this just going to appear out of nowhere. Like things are going to get skewed in the timelines and the different dimensions that they're just going to get pulled in without noticing. And I think that's the route they're going to go down.
Like what happened to Eddie Brock in Spider-Man.
Yeah, things like that. I think that's the route they're going to go down.
There's still a reason why he was there, but it's because the whole spell thing.
Well, he shouldn't have really been there because he doesn't fucking know Spider-Man. It was a big cock up.
No, the symbiote does though, because they explain it. I think at the beginning of the post-credit scene in Let There Be Carnage, Eddie is talking to the symbiote, and the symbiote's saying that the symbiote, and I think this is bullshit, but
yeah, bullshit.
That being said, but the symbiote said that they even have a connection over the multiverse. So the symbiote knows that Peter Parker is
terrible record.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's bullshit. Like I really think it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's
Tobey
bullshit.
Tobey Maguire had connection with the symbiote, and he was also in Spider-Man: No Way Home. So there is some sort of very, very loose connection there, but it's not much. But
Well, regardless, I think this is how they're bringing in the mutants, as well as obviously we saw, yes, we did see Kamala Khan, who's now who's a mutant, and that's absolutely fine. That's what I wanted them to do with her. I also think they're going to get pulled in from different areas. Could be wrong. Could be completely wrong. God knows how they're going to handle it. But there's that possibility that I just wanted to highlight.
I mean,
okay.
I like the idea of Deadpool just sitting there on a laptop and he just starts dragging and dropping X-Men into a file. I mean, if you're gonna go that route, at least do it with Deadpool like that. You know what I mean? Like, just if you're gonna go that route, do the comedic route. Don't just skew things. I hate it when they do stuff like that. And I mean, MCU doesn't do that very often. I mean, they don't skew things as often. But at the same time, it's just like,
yeah.
Just some comments here. So go on.
Yeah, okay. No, go. Comments.
Okay, Daniel Vaughn said Jen shops at Big and Tall, confirmed by her day planner.
I think she said that the other day.
She said that.
Yeah, she mentioned it. Yeah.
She said, this is the only outfit I can get, as She-Hulk. I can't find anything else.
Yeah, she needs to find a guy in a chair who can do some tailoring. File discovery request for Kraft versus Soul. David Anthony Kraft and Charles Soule both wrote She-Hulk comics. Oh, there you go.
Nice Easter egg.
I saw that one online.
For Lee versus Byrne, Stan Lee created She-Hulk. John Byrne wrote the sensational She-Hulk run. Follow up Jensen Class Action. Klaus Jensen worked as the inker on Daredevil, and
which should be coming up here in the next. Wait, what episode are we on? Is this 6?
4.
4.
Oh God, we're only at 4. Okay.
And they're going on a lot about Titania coming back in 5.
I was going to talk about this after we gave our final ratings. I'd be curious to see that, Daniel.
James Hamm. Don't you mean John Hamm?
John Hamm.
Okay, John Hamm is rumored to be in talks for Mr. Sinister. If that's the case, he'll be involved with the mutant's appearance. Yeah, he did mean John Hamm.
Yeah, I thought so.
We've had I actually didn't think Wong was going to come back, but he did obviously come back. We've had, episode 1 and 2, Bruce Banner, episode 2 and 3, Emil Blonsky, and episode 3 and 4, Wong. So it comes into Titania, if you want to call that a cameo as well, will be coming back. And I do think
Titania will be the next episode for sure.
Yeah.
Followed by Daredevil, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I finally fucking remembered.
Okay.
Go for it.
# old age.
Yeah, right. Old age. So you can't say that it's not Twitter art. Like Wong is Twitter armor. He was on the episode last week, and the whole twerking incident happened. So I mean, you can't really say that he's Twitter armor. Like it's funny because it's a bit meta, but it's like, yeah, but I don't think they realized that the Twitter thing or the twerking thing was going to be.
This week's Twitter rant will be about Madison.
Oh yeah,
or,
without a
or
doubt.
the Johnny Blaze name or anything stupid.
It could have been worse.
but-
Kim Kardashian could have been Madison.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
Well, you guys saw those reports about Kim Kardashian. I'm
If
like,
they put if they put Pete Davidson in the MCU, I'm fucking done. I'm leaving.
You're gonna tap
That's
out.
it. I'll
Yeah.
tap out. Fuck that guy. Also, just quickly, in terms of casting for Sinister, it should be Jason Isaacs. He's fucking born to play that role.
Yeah. I
John
agree.
Hamm. I don't see
God,
John.
yeah,
I don't think John Hamm is. John Hamm would make a good Nick Fury,
Mm.
given his age now. John Hamm will make a great Nick Fury if they went back to the original Nick Fury.
you mean struggling actor John Hamm?
Yeah, struggling actor John Hamm.
Do you guys see those
Um,
progressive commercials?
No.
No.
There's a progressive commercial over here in the States. It's like John Hamm was trying to get with Flo. Like
Oh
but
yeah.
when they went out on their date years ago, it was like he was still a struggling actor, and now he's like big shit, and he's still trying to get with her. And she keeps calling him struggling actor John Hamm. You can look it up. It's actually really funny.
I'll check them out. I do like John Hamm.
So once again, these episodes are not super long, which is probably why we can able to squeeze in 9 episodes in this in a season.
Yeah.
But I guess it kind of does the job. And I don't, I haven't been too bothered by the length. Bit slapsticky as well, and all of that. I am very much looking forward to Daredevil, but considering everything's been so humorous, I don't know how Daredevil being in this show would actually work. Considering he's way more serious and more grounded, he's not really part of that.
And
yeah.
in this show, in this setting, it's perfectly fine to have him do something comedic because that's the tone of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't expect him to be like brooding or whatever. However, when he gets his own show back, I don't want him to be fucking Disney Daredevil, like a fucking flailing pansy that cucks to everyone. You know what I mean?
And I agree with you, Ginger, to a point, but then then we're gonna get the Thor problem where it's like you got different directors doing different Thors, so now we're gonna get different Daredevils doing different things, like one on She-Hulk, kind of like, and I know he's not gonna be like cracking jokes like that, but I mean, like, I don't mind that deadpan humor that Charlie Cox's Daredevil has, and even in
that's what I mean. Yeah, like he'll stick with the deadpan stuff.
Yeah,
That
like
kind of
Way
works
Home.
in the Netflix shows as well.
yeah.
But what I mean is, I don't expect him to be 100% brooding serious in this.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
no,
expect
but I
him
mean-
to have Wong and She-Hulk's level of comedy either.
Yeah, I kind of expect to be like in No Way Home, where he's just he just little wisecracks, like
Yeah.
Peter's like, how did you do that? And he's like, I'm a good lawyer, like
Yeah.
it's very deadpan, So that I can get on board with. Yes, I didn't
Yeah.
want him to be like,
No, I agree.
yeah.
Okay, so I think maybe you got any more to say about this episode? But it was very easily digestible. She went on dates and stuff like that. That guy banged She-Hulk. So fucking lucky, man. It's a shame She-Hulk doesn't actually exist.
Pretty
Yeah, I
standard
mean, yeah.
episode. Pretty standard episode for what it was. It had its moments.
I mean, the
Yeah.
great thing about the show is that it knows what it is and it's leaning into it, and it's
Mhm.
leaning into it in a way that's not forced.
Yeah, it doesn't
sometimes-
feel.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it doesn't
No,
feel
no.
try hard either.
Mhm.
That, again, this is what I keep coming back to with the comedy that they slap into all the other MCU stuff. It feels forced because it feels forced because it's coming from studio heads that you have to have your comedy moments in it. You need to inject your stuff in there, and so when you've got writers and directors, with exceptions to Waititi and Gunn, who kind of do that kind of stuff, but when you have other writers and directors that don't do that stuff, you can fucking tell. Like with the Russo stuff, the comedy in Endgame, it felt really forced. It was really irritating. But in She-Hulk, it works. It works great. It's they got a good comedic writer, clearly, and good directors that are able to deliver.
Yeah, for sure. You think She-Hulk will end up finding her man?
I don't care.
I don't care. It's just content. It's there for the shits and gigs. That's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah, I mean, if they focus on this movie, honestly, like I don't mind every now and then them going back to this for a reason, but like they can't sit there and keep on going with this. Like we need to move on past the whole dating app thing and get into
Frogman. She'll get Frogman.
Oh my God.
Frogman's still going to show up
Frogman,
in this.
Yeah, he's still got to show up as well. But I think he'll be somebody that Daredevil's chasing, and they cross paths that way somehow.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because
Possibly.
Frogman isn't Frogman from Daredevil, right? Or no? Am I thinking of
Spider-Man.
You're thinking of
Oh,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. That's close enough. Spider-Man and Daredevil share a couple of similar villains. So
Yeah.
Wilson Fisk being the main one.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to all of that. And I'm wondering if she'll eventually just stay in She-Hulk form like she usually does in the comics.
That's not in the
Um,
budget.
as
Although there
well.
is a lot
Yeah,
more
that's
She-Hulk.
not in the budget, pal.
But I mean, there is a lot more. I honestly wasn't expecting this much She-Hulk. Truth be told, I was afraid it was going into this. I was afraid it was going to be like Moon Knight, where we only got like that one, like that Power Rangers moment of where they call the Megazord in, and like she
Yeah.
calls in She-Hulk. But it's like no, we get She-Hulk, in court, in the office, obviously on dates right now, like in this episode. So there's actually more She-Hulk than I expected, but I went in with low expectations for that because I was like, well, if they're trying to keep it on a TV budget, which I know it's still higher than a normal TV budget, but still, I was like, that's a lot of CGI. And do we want to bring up, and since we have a little bit of time, do we want to bring up all the shit stainers about the CGI on this show? Because
I was about to mention that because
okay, well then you go ahead and lean into it, Zam.
Yeah, like certain of us within this panel, as well as people within NerdTube, as well as people in social media, have been talking about the CGI. Now, personally, I'm getting used to it. If people are thinking it's shit, fair enough. But I don't. I'm beyond that now. I'm enjoying the show to such a degree that I'm seeing past the CGI, and it's palatable for what I'm getting. And I'd rather because one of our compatriots actually said that he would rather have a female bodybuilder in there than a CGI person. But how many female bodybuilders do you know can fucking act as well as Tatiana Maslany? So that's the whole point of her being in CGI mode, because we need a very credible comedic actress to do this sort of stuff, and female bodybuilders are not necessarily known for that. So I'm okay with the special effects. What about you guys? I'll start with you, Ginge.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like I find them funny at times, but it's not the be all and end all for me. You know what I mean? And I'll give it a pass because I know the amount of shit that the fucking VFX companies have been through and how Disney treats them.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't really want this bad CGI to be the focus of anything because they're underpaid, overworked. They're constantly changing things. They had a more muscular She-Hulk rendered and ready, and then they changed it last minute to make her more sexy. So it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't care. I've seen way worse.
Yeah, 100% agree. The way they treat VFX workers I'm getting memories of people working in the gaming industry and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous,
crunch.
man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jose?
Yeah, I'll admit I don't like it, but I'm not going to be one of these nerds that are like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, and then they're going to go on like a 5-paragraph rant about it. I just don't like it. It's not for me, but to each their own, I guess. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not the best CGI I've ever seen, but it's not the worst.
Hello, Bandit. I'll get to you in a second, mate. I'll get to the comments at the end now. Cousin Cheetah.
I mean, as I've said, as Zam said, I kind of got used to it. Like, I get it in the beginning; it was a little bit jarring. I don't know why. Like the Hulk's CGI is pretty good, and She-Hulk's isn't. And a lot of people say the She-Hulk CGI is a bit too perfect. Like her skin's too perfect and stuff like that.
She's supposed to be perfect.
But yeah, it's like I don't know why. Like this is such a big deal. We know. The problem is that if we like totally wiped our brains and forgot that there weren't green people on this planet, and we watched this, I really think that we would be like, "Wow, there's green people on this planet, cool," and we wouldn't know it's CGI. I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes it out to. And Ginger and Zam are right. The VFX people out there right now are getting treated like shit, overworked, underpaid, and and honestly, it's like they're right. Like there was a better version, not a better, but there was another version of She-Hulk completely rendered, and at the last minute, they're doing this shitty not reversal, but you know what I mean, like re-render of her. And it's like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
not that I mind it, but you kind of have to be like shitty CGI is like, I don't even have anything good to bring up.
Well,
but
it's almost semi acceptable for a TV budget. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's almost, you know. So
I mean, go back and watch early Arrow stuff, like
Yeah.
on CW.
Oh,
Like that's a TV budget. Like if you want it,
oh,
I'm
Crisis
sorry.
on Infinity Earths, man. Oh my God, the
Yeah,
end
and
fight,
that
it
was
was
only a couple
awful.
years ago.
Yeah, that was awful. That kind of really threw me off the CW. But yeah, all right. So fair enough. I'm glad we all mentioned on that. So
We
it's
can wrap it up.
time to give the ratings. I'm gonna give this. I was gonna give it a 7, but you know what? 8 out of 10 for me. Cheeto.
8 out of 10. That's where I was gonna give. That's what I was gonna give.
What about you, brother Jose?
I'm going to give it a 7. You know, I thought it was, like I said, I was kind of bored throughout it, but it did have its funny moments. So for me,
DH hasn't been in the 30s dating game for long enough. He needs to.
no, I've been living the bachelor life. Like I've got it pretty well fucking made, man. So I'm pretty damn good. I don't do the Tinder and Instagram and Snapchats and whatever else it is you kids in your 30s are into. Hashtag old age. But yeah,
Ginger,
7 out of 10 for me.
Ginger Greek.
I'll give it an 8. I really enjoyed this episode. I laughed my ass off. So yeah, it's my favorite episode so far.
Fair enough. So I'm going to go to the comments and we'll wrap it up. Daniel Vance says, and for my next trip, I'll make a bird appear.
Yeah, that was
Okey
funny.
dokey.
Yeah, that was freaking funny.
That was funny.
Exactly.
She-Hulk states that demoralizing for Jen when referring to her dating matches. First sign Jen and She-Hulk are two. Yeah. Actually, I mentioned that when She-Hulk was talking, breaking the fourth wall. Yeah, but was she still referring to herself? I'm not sure. It's weird.
I think
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean-
just her being like meta, just like, oh, that's demoralizing for Jen. You
Yeah,
know,
like
I mean,
it's just very fourth wall meta kind of.
Yeah. When Jen sighed after getting served papers, the closed caption read "blows raspberry." Okay. I bet Matt Murdock remembers Peter as Spider-Man. Yeah, well, does that memory spell work on your vision? Or so do blind people not get affected by it? I'm not sure. Bandit says hi, the greatest Dane on the entire planet. And Daniel Vance finally says She-Hulk looks only really looks bad in bright light, and Hulk would look much the same if he didn't have the stubble on his face. I guess so. Hulk has improved. I remember Eric Banner's Hulk, how awful that was. But yeah,
that's Ginger's favorite Hulk.
Yeah, but it has improved over time. All right, guys, wonderful. So we're going to be back tomorrow with a double bill. First of all, we'll be looking at the live coverage from Ubisoft regarding the Assassin's Creed.
Ooh, what time is that?
At 8 p.m. UK, which is I think it's 12 p.m. PST.
Okay, because I might join you guys for that because I've actually been looking forward to Assassin's Creed news for a while.
Yeah, so some stuff on Assassin's Creed. There might be, I think there's a new sort of online game and possibly a new single player game.
Yeah, because I heard like what it's supposed to be is it's supposed to be like an online multiplayer. That's where they want to take.
Okay. Let's just wrap this up. We can talk about it later. I need to go for shit.
No problem. And obviously we've got Lord of the Rings tomorrow as well. So don't forget to check us for that. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care. Thank you, fellas. Bye bye.